Can you hear me? Great. Hi, my name is Dario, as the guy said. Today I want to talk to you a bit about usability testing. I have only 15 minutes, starting now. So I want to talk to you about implementation, because we don't have time for else. So just quickly about me, I'm basically a web developer. I was a freelancer. I work for a marketing agency. And from start, I used WordPress for my CMS needs, and I stick to it. So I really like it, and this is why I'm here today. I'm also a musician. I have a great band. You can find us on helica.org. We don't use microphones like this. We are more like alternative rock, but maybe we should. This is nice. Please connect with me on Twitter if you want. And about my current area, what I do now, I'm actually a tester for, as the guys noted, for on-the-go systems. And they also said my next line, which is WPML plugin. This is our flagship product, so you probably know us by this. But my team, what I'm currently working on is a toolset plugins. It's a family of plugins that allow you to build websites without knowing how to program. And you can do really all kinds of websites. So toolset is also where I draw my usability testing experience, because this is what I do usability testing for. And just to mention, we are hiring, so we are looking for talented developers. So if you feel like one, please contact me afterwards. Just find me or go to our website. It's onthegosystem.com. There's a page for hiring. So please keep in touch if you feel like it. So just quickly about usability testing, what it is, and I'm sure most of you know. Because most of us in our lives, we created something and we just took like a friend or a family member and just put him or her in front of the screen, for example, and watched him use your product, what you created. So this is like basic usability testing, and I think that the real one is when it's organized and structured. So this is what makes the real usability testing, in my opinion. So first I want to start why I would recommend doing usability testing. It's fun, it's easy in my experience. You can have a really good new experience with your users, with your participants, and build new relationships, and it's really not difficult to do. You can do it without cost or with low cost, depends on what your situation is and what you want to achieve with it. And you can use it for really whatever you are working on. So it can be websites, you can do testing for websites, applications for mobile phones, or typical themes, typical plugins, whatever you need. Okay, so how to do it? As I mentioned, we don't have time for me to explain this. I tried it in WordCamp Sofia, so it was really a dense talk, so I won't do it again. I would suggest you to go online, look for like basic resources. There are tons of posts, tons of tutorials, and stuff like this, so you can learn a lot online and do the research. What started me personally with usability testing, how I learned the basics, is like the book I always recommend. It's by Steve Krug, called Rocker Surgery Made Easy. It's a really easy to follow book. One guy here before we started mentioned that it sounds like he's talking like to children, but it's a good thing. So this is what I recommend. So let me get to the part I want to talk to you about. Actually, it's after the testing. What do you get? You get like some results, some things that you noticed or your participant noticed, and you gather these results. So this is my first advice: stay positive and listen. Now, what do I mean by this? By staying positive is that the moment you start doing usability testing, you will notice that users can miss such obvious things. Like, for example, in your user interface, you could have like huge menu, really nicely designed, or a huge button, or something really that's in your face, and they would start the scenario you prepared for usability testing, and they would go like, I don't know what to do next, or like they would be really confused. And what you thought was like super obvious, they would just not see it. So I suggest to stay zen and just um, just stay positive. Do not dismiss them like, oh, they're an idiots, they're unexperienced. You know, just listen to them. And that brings me to this thought that honest and perceptive users are your best asset. This is what I wrote, but then I thought about how I did usability testing, and I didn't like this word. Asset, it sounds like I'm like, I don't know, really an economist or something, which I am, by the way. And I think they're your best friends. You want them to be perceptive, and you want them to be honest. So appreciate that, and in my experience, your participants, at least mine, were really, really kind, and they're really helpful. So before showing you some examples, this is the plugin I first started working on with the company. It's a drag and drop a builder of your websites. So you can just insert different things and create your websites and assign this layout to whatever you want. So you have building blocks like sliders, like content, images, whatever you want. So let me show you about the elephant in the room that we had in my first ever usability testing. It's how to actually insert something into layout, which we thought was really like super obvious. You know, like you click, you drag, and you click again, and you get this nice dialogue, right? And then we started the usability testing, like 3 first sessions, and users was like, click and silence. Okay, what do I do now? And some users would like accidentally move the mouse and say, oh, okay, something happened, but still, they didn't know what to do. So we thought how to improve this. So we decided to do this, like really like punch in your face. We added colors, we added the message, click again to create. Okay, it's some, you know, designers like really fancy things, like really minimal things. So they would say this is too much, but in all subsequent testing, we never had the same problem. So this is how we got rid of this elephant in the room. And the next thing I mentioned is to listen. So what does this mean? This means that, as I mentioned, that you will have this reaction like they're like confused. This is working, but listen to them and understand then why they are struggling, because don't dismiss them lightly, you know? And this is very important, to be open for improvements of your product. Do not think that you're God-given and that your plugin is the best, has the best user interface ever. Be open to adjust it. And this is the next example. Once they had clicked, they would get this dialogue on how to insert certain things. And we also, again, thought it's pretty simple. You can insert a grid, you can insert the child layout, you can insert rich content. It made sense to us. And we even had like a little screenshot, you see, on the right. But they don't know what rich content is oftentimes. Okay, they know what the widget is, but not like child layout. What is it? So again, we made something like big and shiny. It was like big icons, descriptive names. And as you see, you get an example. You get a whole paragraph explaining what you will insert, and the huge, like super huge red or orange button on the right. And again, we never dealt with this problem again. And if you're wondering, okay, so when I get used to the plugin, what happens? Nothing happens. This doesn't bother you. Just click, insert, it's all okay. It's not a problem. So finally, to the implementation part. When you finish usability testing, gather your results, there will be bugs. It's funny, but like always in usability testing, we notice some bugs. This is perfectly okay. Note them and deal with them later. It's not a problem. This is very important. You will have the urge to redesign, to restart your user interface or user experience or whatever, like whenever you hit a big snag. So I would suggest not to do it. And I would also suggest don't just add things, you know, add a button, add a description, add some explanation. This can clutter your user interface really quickly and will just confuse your users. So try to remove as well. And with the results, when you go to the implementation, think about the simplest way to achieve it. You know, usually it really works best. Sometimes I will show you later example that you need a more comprehensive solution. And do not put it off, do it now. If you notice it, do not say like, okay, next version we'll do it, or like, this will be obsolete in like 2 months, 3 months. Do it now, especially for live products. Taking something away, like a simple example, we had like what we thought was a nice bar at the top. You would click it and you would get like a 1-minute explanation of the GUI and how the plugin works, right? The only problem was nobody ever clicked it. Nobody, not one person. So we took it away. No, really, this happens. Take it away. You don't need it. And I come to the last example, which I think is very important. What you will notice during usability testing is how how your users use it, the workflow. This is, I think, one of the most important things you can notice and you can pay attention to. So let me show you how it worked before. You would have this layout, you would create it. Okay, this is like a super simple example. And you could assign it to some custom post types, and so on. But if you wanted to assign it to one post, you had to go to the post, you had to select the layout, and you would update it. And users really had to go back and forward, back and forward. This was not really working well. They would just lose time. So we need to think of something more comprehensive to give them more power. And this is what we did. We added a button and a whole section. And this dialogue alone allowed you to like assign it to anything. So there is not a part of a typical website that cannot be assigned to for this layout. You see, you can have archives, you can have post types, you can have error for page, you can even, it lists all individual pages, individual posts, you can search for the post, so you can do anything. And it works, and this is really important. So listen for the feedback about the workflow and pay special attention to it. And this brings me to my conclusion. What I wanted to stress here is I would strongly suggest you to try it. I think even if you're a small company, maybe 1 person, 2 person, maybe you're a freelancer, I would suggest you to try it. It's really fun. I had such a wonderful experience because all users were so helpful. They really wanted to help, and just research it and do it. And this is why I want to close with my favorite graffiti I ever saw. And this is my point for you. Don't do it, just do it. Go, learn, and do it. Thank you. I don't know if we have some time for questions or we want to move. Any questions? We have a few minutes. I was fast. Yeah?
Do you think user testing is good with any person? Or, if, for instance, if it's a website for doctors, do I have to do user testing only with doctors?
Yes, that's a very good question, because even we, can I talk from my experience? Because I did usability testing for tools that help you build websites. So of course, you want to test with people who build websites, even if they're like beginners. I just want to create my personal blog with your tools, and this is perfectly okay. But I did have like examples when we wanted to test something more complex. For example, if you want to build, I don't know, a parametric search or something like this, it's more complex with the concepts that beginners won't even understand. So yes, definitely in some cases you need certain types of users, definitely, in my opinion. And if the doctors are who will be using this, I don't know if it's back-end or front-end application, I think it's definitely you should use them for the testing. Yeah. Thanks. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.